My face currently feels like I've been run through by Tom Stewart.
Puts it to the top of the square. Oh, beautiful little fist in there by Dale. Crucial centimetre moments.
He definitely has a bit of the Belcho spirit. As I have a bit of the Belcho spirit.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Back Pocket Podcast, the one and only podcast that promises to delve into football's greatest mysteries, such as, is Reece Matheson natty? And was Henry Smith really just looking for Blakey's lizard tail? I'm Alistair, that's Jack. How are ya?
I mean, both of those things I think are true. Yeah, I'm good. I love...
I knew you'd be pro Reece Matheson.
People took Robbo's word for it when he was like, AFL went and saw Matho, checked if he was natty, and they drug tested him, and to their shock and horror, he was. And it's like, well, clearly he wasn't.
Nothing like
maybe
starting...
drug tests don't come back the day after.
Nothing like starting off the podcast with a little bit of slander.
I mean, you know, if you're playing Rezzies, do all the drugs you want, I guess.
That picture I sent you of him, it's like, you look at it and you go...
There's no way... Also, like, he was 4 months retired when some of those photos were taken. You don't get that big, that fast, and stay that lean all at once without doing steroids.
Allegedly.
Well, not allegedly. It was caught.
Well, we don't know that.
No, the first one from The Age was like, we're not going to name the football round of respects, and Fox Footy was like, it was Reece Matheson!
I'm still saying allegedly. I don't want to get sued by a man who has biceps the size of my entire body.
I'd rather get sued by him than punched by him, frankly. Yeah, so...
It's just what he calls punching people. I'm going to sue you.
Going beast mode. We had a weekend of footy that was surprisingly good, I would say.
Yeah, it's tightening itself up at the end of the year. It's like... It's remembering that football can be good again. Just little dashes here and there.
Rachel Danderfield referred to it as silly goose round.
For all
the teams that should have won easily and didn't. We had 2 real upset losses, but 6 of the games were decided by less than 20 points and quite a few single figures. Started off with the Hawks monster in Collingwood, which seems to be a late season trend over the last 3 or 4 years. I picked the Hawks the first time when when Collingwood beat them by 50, and I picked Collingwood this time when Hawthorn beat them by 60. So
you've got to get better at tipping, bro.
God, this year's been a nightmare. Friday saw a pretty typical Geelong-Essendon game.
To be fair, it's one of the closest ones in recent history.
Which is saying, yeah, Jesus.
Imagine if they didn't pick up Liam McMahon in that mid-season draft.
Essendon showed a bit of fight with what is their now like trademark drag them into the slot game plan. It seems to be preventing them from getting blown out, which is something.
I wonder how that's going to work against the worst teams.
Yeah, like when they play St Kilda.
Yeah.
Coming up, I do wonder if they're going to be able to do the same thing, or if what if Ross plays Ross ball and Essendon plays drag them into the slot ball, and we
should put that game on a Friday night. Have they?
Yeah, it is. It's on at the same time as Freo Brisbane, so I can tell you which game I will be watching.
Essendon St Kilda.
Saturday, we had Richmond waste their chances and their sub against St Kilda. They led at 3/4 time, dramatically fell short. Our boy Campbell took a shot really late, didn't make it. Sydney ran all over Brisbane until the second half. Brisbane kicked 4 goals, the last 4, 6 of the last 7, and 3 inside the last minute. Carlton attempted to recreate St Kilda's comeback from last weekend, but a worryingly mature Gold Coast team headed up by an increasingly capable Ben King held firm and kind of killed off the comeback late. Port led for most of the second half until some final quarter heroics from Pat Voss and Alex Pearce saw Fremantle pull off an insane win.
Fuck yeah, Moose Missile.
It's the 4th time in the last 6 games they've come from behind at 3/4 time to win. Sunday started with a fizzer as North barely showed up against the Giants, but then we had one of the games of the year with the Bulldogs in Melbourne. Ed Richards and Darcy were insane. I thought Garcia's last quarter was incredible too as the sub.
Probably one of the better sub appearances of
he was involved in
well, I mean,
Jack Martin. He was involved directly in 3 of their last quarter goals. One of them he kicked himself. And then we finished the weekend off with a readless West Coast trading blows with the ladder leaders and only losing by 9 points. So I enjoyed a lot more football this weekend than I expected to.
Yeah, they had a chance there, West Coast. They really did.
They even looked like going a few more times late. It was really good. Thilthorpe kind of finished it off at the end, but he was also had a really good battle with Jimby, who's, again, been outsized and, like, down on experience
keep him
against
to
so
one
many key
goal,
forwards
to
this year.
Phil Thorpe
but
to one goal?
he's, 2, I think.
Oh, he kicked 3, sorry.
3. But he's done a pretty good job against some serious key forwards in a team that's getting a lot of inside 50s.
It's good experience for when he will be playing on players closer to his size when they fill out those other roles back there.
Or he drops into a...
They weren't readless. They had Archer read.
That's true. I remember when Luke Ryan was doing a similar thing for Freo.
Yeah.
And like now he plays as the loose defender.
Yeah.
But like Jimby getting that experience will be massively valuable moving forward.
I also am not 100% sure he stays in defence his whole career.
No, he could pinch it in the midfield. He could become many other things. He could be a wingman. Like we see a lot of those tall defenders.
Could even do an Ed Richards like later in his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got the body for it.
Yeah. The news I wrote down, first one was no home finals for Geelong. Confirmed. The AFL was like, you know what you need? You need a 40,000 seat stadium, and then only if you play interstate teams. And it's like, so we've got a 40,000 seat stadium, and we're probably going to play Gold Coast, and they're like, it's going to be at the MCG actually.
Well, I mean, the ladder's still got a lot of permutations to come, but
I don't know.
They're making it. We know that, but where they finish,
the rule is something like they need to play 10 MCG finals over every 5-year rolling period. And the AFL is going to make sure they play every possible MCG final they can so that doesn't go wrong. Snoop Dogg announced his grand final entertainment, not really a surprise. I feel like that was so heavily rumoured it might as well have been confirmed for a while.
I saw who was it? It was Chompers called Snoop Dogg irrelevant, which is funny. I mean, he hasn't really had it like a mainstream hit in a long time.
It is the
but
AFL.
That is not who their the target audience isn't new and fresh people. Katy Perry hasn't been relevant in a while,
and Robbie Williams hasn't
even
been.
The
Killers,
even
really.
the Killers, yeah. They're targeting 30+-year-olds and people they get to watch on TV. A big American artist does that.
They want people that like vaguely care about football but might not tune in to tune in.
No, we didn't mention Kiss either. They haven't been relevant in a long time.
It's a significantly more relevant choice than Kiss or Meatloaf.
But I cannot wait for the
Angry
uproar. How bad are they going to have to censor him?
Oh, it's crazy, right? Does he have to self-censor on stage? I don't know.
I definitely think he'll have to, right? Because this... it's an all ages event.
Yeah, it's going to be on TV at midday.
It's going to be very funny. It's going to be so funny.
As some brave Twitter soldier said the other day to a friend of the show, Polly, so you're okay with Snoop Dogg calling women hoes in his songs, but you're not okay with Tex Walker saying the N-word to a teammate. Well, yep, that's correct. That seems like a gap between those two things. However, I don't think Channel 7 would be okay with Snoop Dogg singing about hoes and drugs.
We'll see. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Not me. But also, as I said straight away, I was like, I for one don't really care who the grand final entertainment is because I care about the grand final. You could put anyone on, and I wouldn't really. I'll probably watch it while we're setting up whatever food options we're doing on the table or whatever. But I'm not keenly tuning into the pre-game. I think you called me into the room to see the weird CGI shit that Katy Perry was doing.
No, I was out at but I definitely was messaging you. I was out at Jessica's. I was messaging
I think you messaged me and I saw it.
Aliens are descending upon the MCG, Jack. You have to look.
I'm in the kitchen making party pies. I'm like, fucking what? So,
I think Foo Fighters would have been the best call, but after looking at that Good Things lineup, I can't help but think Tool would have been a really fun
garbage.
Tool and Garbage. Just.
That would be very odd.
I feel like even though you and I are both 30+, we look at Tool and Garbage and go, wow, that's fucking ancient.
That's for old people. What? It's such a strange one for Good Things, right? Because surely that's not the festival target market.
It feels. I said to my sister, I said, why not age it down 10 years? Where's Jimmy Eat World or something like that? But anyway, that's just me. I think Tool will be really fun to see live, especially if you're high as hell.
I'm sure it would be.
Anyway, that's a complete tangent.
And yeah, we kind of mentioned it, but Alex Pearce is basically his own news story at the moment for being like, I'm going to put myself forward in this last quarter.
I mean, he followed his forward down.
Still, normally in that situation, he would sit off the ball, and he hasn't done that. He's, but they said that
it is. It's the reverse of the other week with Tracy going back on Darcy Moore.
Longmuir said that Pearce has license. He's kicked a couple of goals this year. He said that the new game plan, being a bit more free and running, is that Pearce has license to go inside 50 and take those marks if the forwards in the forward half.
He's launched them.
And he did it. He's kicked, and they're pure goals. He's kicked
good.
too. And the mark. Have you seen the side by side?
Yeah, it
of
looks
the
exactly
Longmuir?
like Longmuir's.
Incredible. Like the most iconic moment of his career.
I think it's the only moment I've ever seen. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at our age, it's probably true. Like he's the age of our eldest sisters.
He looks older.
Yeah, footy does
Football
that too.
does that,
Coaching,
yeah.
You see coaches go into the role with black hair and
Yeah.
leave it 5 years later with a full head of silver hair if they've got hair left.
Yeah, look what they did to Adam Simpson.
I saw a young photo of Ken Hinkley and I went, oh, footy has cruelled that
he
man,
looks like a goblin now.
especially with the fake teeth. Looking at the camera. Shall we jump into votes for this week?
I guess that's what we're here for.
You did the intro.
So you're number one.
I'm
You
on
do
the-
one vote.
I'm doing a number one. My number one vote this week was to Ben Miller.
Yeah, Ben Miller's in my special mentions.
He had 15 disposals at 93, 7 of those were intercepts, 6 spoils, 3 rebounds, 3 of his 4 1-on-1s. Got 1 coach's vote.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a really solid game. And they had their chances to win that game, and he did a pretty good job of locking down that forward line. St Kilda only scored like 56 points or something.
54?
Yeah,
something like that.
not a lot.
I wanted to give Ben Miller my one because it was probably, I think it was the closest game of the week, and he played really well. But I couldn't go past my boy, who I really like, especially because he plays for a team I hate. One vote to Jack Scrimshaw for me.
Jack Scrimshaw, I mean, he was a pod favourite before he started getting recognition elsewhere.
Yeah,
we were talking him up early. Special mention for me this week, yes. He was really good, though.
15 disposals, 3 rebounds, 7 intercepts, 3 intercept marks. Not huge numbers, but I thought he played really well. I really think Hawthorn, boy, did they get lucky with this kid, because I feel like they got him for absolutely nothing.
Knives. He was absolutely a steak knives, like a pick swap.
And I would have him in my first 10 picked for Hawthorn, in my opinion.
I remember at the time being like, you watch, and this was when Hawthorn were pulling these out of their ass before they went downhill, but I was like, you watch this kid who has been discarded become great for Hawthorn, and now he has.
Yeah, it's like the Jack Crisp, right?
Yeah. Hey, he's good. Big fan of Scrimshaw.
Don't give away Jacks in steak knives. Don't do that.
Well, unless you're Jack Bowes, in which case Gold Coast got rid of that off their salary, and he's...
Was that a steak knife, or was that like...
That was a salary dump. That was... Yeah, the steak knife was pick 7, which is crazy, but it was. My 2 votes this week was to another favourite, Sam Collins.
Okay, Sam Collins is a special mention for me.
He had 14 disposals. Of those 14 disposals, 13 were intercepts.
Yeah.
I heard you say fucking Sam Collins like 3 or 4 times during that game, which is
He
an
was
indication
really good.
that he's playing well.
The fact that I've got him outside of my votes is crazy, because there's been some performances this
He had
week.
11 contested, 4 marks, for all of those were intercepts, 4 spoils, 4 tackles, lots of 4s. Won 2 of his 3 1-on-1s, 1 coach's vote, 12.5 rating points. He's having another really good year. I saw Michael Whiting's in the voting for the All-Australian this year. I was like, Sam Collins and Harris Andrews are going to get in. One of them.
I mean, that would be a respectable back too.
Yeah,
but there's someone I'm picking over Sam Collins, in my opinion. Wilkie, right?
Wilkie, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Who was your 2?
All right, so, and this might... I don't know how you're going to vote this week, because I've got 4 here that I feel like should be in your votes, so someone's missing out.
Someone's missing out.
And last week I disrespected him a little bit, but I've got 2 votes for Nick Blakey this week.
So Nick Blakey's missing out from me this week.
That's fair. So they won that game, which I want to add on is...
We called it. We talked about that. To be fair, we only talked that game up so much because we were midway through Collingwood Hawthorn being a blowout. But we did talk that game up.
He had 20.5 rating points, 20 disposals, 17 kicks, 674 metres gained to go with 11 rebounds and 10 intercepts. It doesn't always work, but I love the way he just screams, like, take on me, and just goes. It's one of the most entertaining things in football. Not many players do that. And
it's what Hawthorn would be hoping Weddle becomes.
Yes,
right?
and I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
But it's the Nick Blakey.
Blakey's so good at
That's
it.
why they call him the Lizard. It's his thing right now.
Sydney next year looks like it's going to be good again.
Lizard.
There's a lot going on, but Lizard.
Yeah.
I think they'll be back to at least finals next year. They've proven in the back half, and they've got players back. They're good enough to match it with the good teams.
Definitely.
My 3 votes this week was to Harris Andrews.
Okay.
Did he not get votes for you?
He's a 5.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. When I wrote his stats down, I went, I can't believe I'm not giving him 5 for this game, but I haven't.
You were out here earlier and I screamed, it's just impossible not to give this fucker votes.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, he's on a top of our leaderboard by so far.
Yeah, I was going to
and
say
he just keeps doing it.
I don't have the stats on me, but he's going to win. That's the impression
20
that I get.
disposals, 95%. 15 of those were intercepts. He had a 20.3 rating point game. 11 marks, 9 spoils. He is having... If he's not All-Australian this year, it's insane.
It would be a robbery.
Yeah. I would be... Like, last year he should have been. It was shocking last year.
Yeah.
If he's not this year, it's broken.
There's a couple that missed out last year. Sam Collins missed as well.
Yeah. If one or at least both, but at least Andrews makes it this year, I'll be a bit happier.
Yeah, it's obviously we're big fans of the other big keys. Wiedering for the last few years, less so this year. Wilkie,
Taylor when he plays enough games.
Yeah, Taylor. You and I probably have more raps on Jack Henry than the rest of the comp.
Yeah.
But Harris Andrews is the best defender in the league.
The difference at Geelong when he is and isn't playing is insane. But yes, Harris Andrews, he's the most complete for the fact that he can play any kind of key defensive role. He can be the second tall, he can be the lockdown tall, he can be the interceptor. And sometimes he is all three.
Part of the reason I feel like they did lose that game is maybe a lack of connection, obviously, with their missing players. Leicester's not there. Yeah. They're playing Bruce Revel and they're playing Tom Duday in his first game for Brisbane.
And Henry Smith's only in his third game.
So, like, the gel between those players might not be there, but Harris Andrews still performed like that.
Yeah, it's incredible. With, like, a ramshackle backline in a loss that at one point looked like being a 7 or 8 goal loss, and he was just... crushing it. They don't have a chance to come back if he doesn't play the way he does.
Yeah.
Who's your 3 this week?
My 3 is to Aaliyah.
My 4 is to Aaliyah.
Okay, that's fair. So when Aaliyah is on, he is an all-star. He is insanely good at zoning, intercepting. I would honestly tag him before I tag a midfielder at Port. That's my opinion. Not everyone will agree. He had 14.6 rating, 22 disposals, 17 marks, 12 intercepts, 6 intercept marks, won 3 of 4 contests, 8 spoils to go along with 412 metres gained. I don't know if I already said that.
5 score involvements, 3 score launches. I forgot to mention Harris Andrews had 4 score involvements, all of the launches as well. 10 coaches' votes.
Yes, 10 coaches' votes, which you don't often get for defenders these days.
Defenders in a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was enormous.
Yeah, 17 marks.
But yeah, it's the gap between his best and worst.
That's the problem.
A lot. If he could find something just above the middle, would be phenomenal.
That's why I think he is taggable, which is why he is gettable.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting, like we see a lot of teams, like Bailey Dale is the guy you tag at the Bulldogs. Some teams, the best player to tag is... Well, and Frampton went forward on Harris Andrews in the grand final. People think it was a lot more successful than it was, but it shows that sometimes the most important player to go after is not... You know, I mean, they also sent Mitchell and Neil, but still. It's not always a midfielder you go after.
Yeah, 100%.
So
does that mean it's my 4 again?
It means it's your 4, which is probably my 5. No, your...
What have you done?
You did 4 was Aaliyah.
My 3 was Aaliyah.
Your 3 was Aaliyah, yep.
What have you
so
done?
It's your 4.
Okay, my 4 is to Callum Wilkie.
My 5 was to Callum, yeah. So
okay.
I've matched up on those just in the wrong order.
Cool, so, like, Callum Wilkie... how do I say this? If Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller is the most important player at St Kilda, Callum Wilkie is their second most important player. He's currently thinking, do I stay, do I go? But if St Kilda let him leave in any capacity, it would be an absolute travesty.
If it happens that they let him go to bring in Lecalier, it would be an insane decision.
It would be a downgrade. Lecalier is an intercept type. Callum Wilkie is a fullback that can intercept.
And he's so consistent.
He had 29 disposals
at 96%.
As a key back. 16 marks, 9 intercepts, 5 intercept marks. I don't have the stats on score involvements or whatever.
5 score involvements, 2 launches.
He's insane. 9
coaches' votes. I don't know which coach watched that game and didn't think he was best on ground, but one of them apparently did.
Yeah, I mean, Sinclair was pretty good.
He was pretty good.
But, like, as I said, just in that patch before, he's easily one of the top 5 key defenders in the league.
Yep. He should be the other, I think, with Andrews, key defender this year.
The loss of battle hasn't affected him the way that other teams have.
Yeah. To be fair,
I don't know...
To his credit, Caminiti's having a really good year down there.
Yes, that is
true.
He was leader of the intercept marks a while ago.
10 spoils this week as well.
I don't know. I don't look at the votes on the website because I don't want to spoil it for myself. And, you know, I'd be the king of wishful thinking to think he'd be winning because Andrews exists. But
he is second.
He's second?
And he'll be locked into second after this week.
He'd probably have to get a full 10 to overtake Andrews, or is it impossible? Don't tell me.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
tell
either
me.
impossible or he'd need Andrews to go voteless and get... Oh, but there's 2 weeks left.
There's 2 weeks.
He could do it
Yeah.
if he gets perfect 10s. And...
But yeah, for mine, eye test over the whole season, those two are the best keys in it. Consistent. If they have a down day, like they fall back, they get straight back up.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, they're not having 2-3 week stretches
No.
of poor form. They're just playing,
which
really
you can
consistent.
probably pull from the other key defenders. Collins hasn't been at his top all season.
Been missing a lot around.
Wiedering's had some down days. Who else am I
having
thinking of?
Week here. Pearce
Brass
has
and Battle are up
Pearce
and
has missed
down.
about 10 games now.
Yeah.
Taylor's missed probably 8 games now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he had that fucking stinker. He was
yeah,
so
Darcy
angry.
crushed him.
So those two for mine.
Yep.
If you want my All Australians, there you go.
My special mentions this week were Ruben Jimby, Darcy Wilmot, Connor O'Sullivan,
I got Connor O'Sullivan.
James Sicily, Tom McDonald, Mark Keane, and Jed Adams.
You don't have Tom McCarthy,
No, I didn't, but I thought you might.
and I have Ollie Hollands down.
Yep.
He doesn't get much mention from us. But
Round highs this week, Sandy Brock and Anthony Caminiti had 10 spoils. Andrews was intercepts and intercept marks of 15 and 7. Jed Adams on debut, 4 out of 4 one-on-ones. Didn't
Right.
lose any. And Nick Blakey with rebounds, as we said, with 11. It was a pretty good week for defenders. We've had some weeks where we've been like, how do you give 3 votes to anyone this week? And this
Yeah.
week I was like, how do I leave 4 of these guys out
Yeah.
of my votes?
when I was
James Sicily even felt stiff. I'm like,
when I was looking at Sam Collins, and I was like, oh man, am I cutting him out? That's rough.
I'm glad I did give him votes,
Yeah.
considering you didn't. Have you got stocks up, stocks down this week?
I do, but it's kind of half-assed.
Yeah, so am mine. I wanted to do them before we move on to other things, so I think you're going to bring up my stocks down. We already have, kind of.
I'm not bringing it up
So
here.
my stocks up this week
Uh-huh.
is Sydney next year.
Yeah.
I kind of touched on that. If they are able to keep most of that list fit and get a key forward as well, which they're obviously desperately trying to do, I think they will be a contender again next
Yeah.
year.
Well, like what is it, like 2 to 3 teams drop out every year and
Yeah.
one to take their place? So I think Sydney are the easy riser there, and whoever is the obvious miss out of that bottom 5 of the top 9 probably joins as well.
Yeah, there's a very, very good chance that we see that bottom cluster of the 8 just move around again
Yeah,
next year.
just swap.
A lot of the teams that are in the 8 don't look like they'll have a huge drop off. Like
Yeah.
they're mostly good, solid cores, unless, as we said, you never know when age catches you as a football team,
Yeah.
and it could come for Collingwood at any time. It doesn't seem to be. Penrith
Yeah.
was still probably their best player on the weekend when they lost. So, what was your stocks up?
My stocks up is just football in general mattering again.
Yeah.
It felt
We've
like we
got
had a
some-
round where things mattered, and the next 2 weeks things
It's
are going
so
to
many
continue to
super
matter.
important games. Adelaide are the only team locked in.
Geelong are locked in. They can finish as low as 7th,
No,
I
if
think.
Geelong lose to Richmond, which they probably won't, they can miss finals still.
I had them. I went onto my little ladder predictor and I put them for losses in both and tried to kick them out of the 8, but I couldn't.
I don't know what the exact results are, but it's like a low percentage.
If Geelong
I
lose
wrote-
to Richmond by 100 points,
I
then
wrote here, 8 sides can still miss or make finals from here. Gold Coast and Geelong, however, are extremely unlikely to
Yeah.
miss. Gold Coast obviously
They've got 3 games.
have 3 games, so they're like technically more likely to miss, but they're against Port, Essendon,
and Essendon again.
yeah, like they're Argentina West, which they could lose.
Yeah.
But like I expect them to beat Port and Essendon, especially both on the Gold Coast. Like I'm
Yeah.
not seeing them as, or they'll at least win one of them.
What are the AFL going to do if there's another hurricane?
Be crazy, wouldn't it?
It would be very funny. Not for the people who suffer
Yeah,
from the
not for
hurricane,
everyone living.
but for the AFL. Anyway, that's my stocks up. It's just football mattering again. I guess I'll go my stocks down before you because you said you've got a long thing to go
No,
over.
I didn't say it's long. I just said
okay.
I think you might bring it up if we do any other segment.
Oh, okay.
And I said you already kind of did. And my stocks down is putting your finger up your opponent's bum. It's a simple one this week, but I think that's my stocks down. I think that don't do that.
My
A good alternative is, I don't know if you saw it happened in the women's comp in Victoria, in the game of Moonee Ponds. One of the players mooned the opposition coach's box.
That's funny.
She just brown-eyed him.
I wonder what the AFL would do. Would you find that more than
That's more offensive than the bird, isn't it?
Did you? Sorry, side note. Did you see that Jeremy McGovern's kid was flipping off the crowd?
Yeah. I did. Harley
Reid's a bad influence, man.
Harley Reid commented on it. Like,
Oh, did he?
Rate this.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand it. I've watched it in slow motion. I've watched it in full motion.
Clearly what happened is Blakey tried to swat his hand
Yeah.
and accidentally sack-tapped him, and Henry Smith went, I know what I'll do in response. I'll put two fingers just...
It looks like for a second he's just trying to stabilize himself, but then he
He
reaches
really
in.
goes in there.
it's not on. But
Because the first time I watched it, I was like, did Blakey get him first? And I was like, no, Blakey's clearly just trying to, get his hand or push him away as he's standing over him, and he's just, accidentally got him. But Henry Smith just had this monumental brain fade. And look, I'm not saying he should have been, blown away for what he did, but for the AFL to just go,
Nothing to
"That's
see
fine,
here."
just a football act. I was like, I don't think it is.
yeah, maybe there's something going on between the two. Who knows?
Maybe the game hasn't gone woke. Maybe...
Maybe you can still touch another bloke's asshole. Get away with
maybe
it.
that's still fine. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or is that woke? Depends who
Nah.
you ask.
Nah, they were doing it back in the 80s, so it can't be woke.
We're talking about today how it's funny that pregnancy gets listed on the injury list in the women's. Season pregnancy. And someone was like, it's a pretty serious injury. There's a whole other person inside them. And I was like, there's a few unnamed male footballers who've had someone inside of them and still rocked up to play the next week. So I don't know about that.
I was going to say something fucking atrocious.
That
Let's
also
move on.
happened in the 80s.
My stock's down. And it's harsh because we have been quite positive on them and their future on this podcast.
Yep.
My stock's down is West Coast. And if you had stocks in West
All right.
Coast, it's kind of crazy. They won 5 games last year.
Yeah, they won one this year.
They've won 1 so far, and they've got 2 games coming up that I don't think they're going to win.
No, I don't think so either.
They've got Sydney and they've got the Bulldogs.
I pre-scheduled a tweet for round 5 next year that just says, hey, Dave, how many games have West Coast won in their last 100? And it's 1 in 10. And I'm watching them almost beat Adelaide on the weekend, no.
Good delete a scheduled tweet. I don't even know how to do that.
Because the worst part is, by the time
1
next
in
season
10.
starts, if they win one of those first 5, I'll have forgotten I've scheduled that.
Oh, I think you'll forget it by next week.
So they might win... I scheduled it months ago. They might win 3 of their first 5 games next year. And I'm
Scrambling.
like a dickhead.
But yeah, they won 5 games in 2024. Probably only going to win 1 this year. The thing that's maybe I'm just saying temper your stocks is they haven't looked worse.
No, I think
their
they've
scoring
looked-
has been slightly down,
Yeah.
but that's because no Waterman, no Allen, right?
They've had a game style this year.
Yeah.
I think Simpson was just scrambling to stop them from losing by so
Yeah.
much, whereas McWalter's clearly doing something. But yeah, it is weird, isn't it?
So- 1 win season.
It's the worst we've had in the AFL era, or the 18 team era.
Do you get a priority pick for that?
Well, they should.
I feel like they've been bad enough for long enough that they should.
Yeah.
But then they get the Allen comp as well. Do they end up with the first 3 picks?
That's what I've said. So it could be West Coast, West Coast, West Coast, Richmond, Essendon, Essendon.
I just think, well, anyone who's giving Sam Draper enough money to get Essendon a first round compensation is insane. But that's besides the point. I got to wonder if the AFL look at doing what they did for, Carlton and Gold Coast back in the day, where they
And
give
doing
them access to priority players. Have they already done something for them with Indigenous talent? I can't remember. Or maybe that
West
was
Coast
on the cards.
do have but it's just the same as a lot of other clubs.
I don't know.
They let Lawson Humphreys go. So
I don't think they can give them pick 2 and 3 for free.
I reckon if
that goes back to 2005 shit.
Yeah, when it was insane. And you just have to finish in the bottom 2 twice.
Yeah.
The AFL will be like, here you go.
Pick 2.
Hawthorn and Collingwood, off of making grand finals, they were just like, here's some picks. And you're like, hang on, you can't. But yeah, I think maybe an end of first round compensation might be more reasonable. But they clearly need some help. People love being they're the richest club in the country. It's and there's a salary cap. That doesn't help
All
them.
they can do is pump that into their
Off-field stuff.
Off-field
You can only pay
stuff.
so many assistant coaches.
Yeah.
I learned recently that it's a bit more harsh than we thought it was as well. It's not just the 100% tax for going over. If you go over in repeated seasons, it gets more. So, you can't just pay too many assistants. Otherwise, Geelong, West Coast and Collingwood would just do that, right? If you've got so much money, you can afford to pay the tax. But then apparently it gets more punishment every year you do it. So, that isn't the answer either. I do think, though, that, I've written here as one of my notes this week that, I'm worried about North because I think I've seen more promise for the future from West Coast, Richmond and Essendon this year than I have from North, in the terms of like, it feels like they know what they want to be. Whereas North, their teams pick them apart so easily. I was talking to Cody Atkinson this week about it after watching that game on the weekend. And it was like, teams aren't even playing a full defence against North because they know they'll make a mistake.
Yeah.
They're sitting 2 behind the ball, knowing it will get turned over. And we've seen, like in the last 3 or 4 weeks, teams are just like having 2 of their best forwards out the back, not even pressing up with the defence. So the ball just goes over the top and they score. Like, it's disrespectful, but like that's where North are at.
Yeah, and
Whereas like we saw against Collingwood, Carlton, Geelong and now Adelaide, West Coast have really showed they've got a game plan. Richmond have beaten good teams this year. North have, like, they had that win against Melbourne, but then other than that, they've beaten like West Coast and Richmond.
And in Essendon's defence, they have been so shot with injury that they've had to implement that game style. But it's very clear from the outside looking in that they're bored and their whole club is on, like, together for once.
Yeah.
They're trying to oust that old regime completely so they can start fresh and actually not be cursed by, a horrible coterie and drafting and mistakes. Like, they want to fix that, and Brad Scott seems to be all in.
It's like, I obviously wrote my piece about it earlier this year where I was like, Essendon fans have to not get sucked in if they have wins again like they did last year, because Brad Scott's been saying the whole time that they're still this far off.
Well, the good news is they've only won one in their last 10 or so.
Their injuries they got this year almost just gave him free rein to do what he wanted to do. Like, it meant that the fans kind of excused it rather than putting the hot pressure on him that they would have been otherwise, because he's wanted to rebuild this list since he got there. But he's had several years in a row where they've had 3 or 4 early wins, and the fan base has gone nuts for it.
Very much got to refresh that forward line in a year. Caddy year 2, Kako year 1, bring in May and Liam McMahon.
It looks exciting now.
That's fine, right?
That they've got players everywhere on the ground that have promise, and I feel like I haven't said that for Essendon for a while, outside of your Martins and your Caldwells.
And you get to move, like, with players like that coming through, you get to finally move on from your Shields and your Greshams, and they can afford to cut ties with a Hobbs or a Sardis and look at something else. As much as it pains me to say,
it doesn't feel doom and gloom, and
No.
it really does feel like they're making horrifically sensible decisions. Kako's looked interesting in the midfield recently. Like, that seems like a fun thing they've been trying out.
Anyway, let's see. Maybe they'll give Harley Reid $2.2 million a year, and
it's one of those ones where, like, I get that, like, he if he achieves anything close to his potential, he's worth the money. But it just, like, the way list management works, it crushes you in so many other areas.
Is there a single player you'd give over $2 million right now?
Sam Darcy. He's the top, like, I feel like he's a different machine. Like, when he plays, I saw, like, I don't necessarily agree with that 25 ratings the AFL website put out, having him in the top 5 players. But I saw people being like, how can Thilthorpe be so far behind him? I'm like, I think that he is. I think Thilthorpe was very good. He's definitely in the top 5 key forwards in the comp. Darcy's a whole different type of footballer. Darcy's behind only Jeremy Cameron for goals per game, and outclasses most key forwards in score involvements and contested marks.
John Ralph completely disagrees. He said he's taking Thilthorpe any day.
Yeah, okay. Sure, Ralphie. That's a good sign that Darcy's better. But yeah, I just think Darcy's such a freak of nature that he's the only kind of player that I would be willing to give that to. The way he moves at that height is ridiculous.
We made fun of him in his first year for the way he kicked like a windmill, but
but also we made fun of it because we were kind of confused that it worked. Like, it was like, how does his right foot end up behind his left ear and the ball's gone straight? He doesn't do it quite as bad anymore.
No, he's a little bit less gawky now.
He's kind of grown into his frame. Well, they said that he went into the weights room and just gained as much weight as he could when he had the 8 weeks off.
I mean, in contrast,
I
don't think Thilthorpe left the weights room.
I don't think so. I think he ate several other players.
I haven't seen Lockie Murphy in a while.
It was insane seeing him come back at that size. It was like, because you see him go out, he's this like gangly kid, and he comes back with the beard, and he's like 20 kilos heavier.
Did he kick a couple of goals in his debut, and everyone was like, "Oh, something here," but
it was like he was all right, and then he came back with all the size, and you're like, "Oh shit, all right," because he was like, they were like, "Is he a full forward? Is he a ruck?" And you're like, "Oh, he's a full forward."
Yeah. What happened to that Gallant kid? Is he still in there?
He is. I
don't think so.
I don't think so. I thought you were going to say Gallucci. I was like, no, he's playing for South Fremantle.
Well, no, he's definitely not on the list.
Game of the week next week. What do you reckon? I think there's a few options.
Is there any golf on?
Don't tell Acker. I've gone Adelaide Collingwood. But I think that I'll wait for your pick before I talk about other ones. But
I would like to say Gold Coast GWS.
yeah, I think
in that.
Freo Brisbane, Suns Giants, Hawks D's, and Swans Cats are all interesting games.
I'm fully on board with Fremantle, but I think there's a very high chance they lose this game.
Yeah, I think that it's really like Brisbane have to bounce back. The Crows have to beat Collingwood for the sakes of the fact that they've lost to them so many times in a row. Sydney losing Grundy, I think, is a big loss for them. He's been so good.
Would be a huge, huge final shake-up if Geelong loses that game.
Yeah,
right?
it really
Everyone
moves,
expects them to finish second now, I think.
and they'll probably finish third or fourth.
Yeah.
If they lose that. And Melbourne are looking good. Like they've you know.
Well, they played the Bulldogs.
Yeah, who are dickheads.
Dickheads.
Yeah. But they did look good.
Are we walking into this week thinking West Coast are no chance?
Yeah.
Are we?
No. To be fair, I actually jokingly highlighted this game early in the year in 2022 when they missed finals because they lost to West Coast in the second last game of the year.
Yep.
Boy, they have a chance to do it again. It's interesting because like if Bulldogs win this game, then the Freo Bulldogs game to finish off the season outside the Gold Coast Essendon game is a huge game because it really will be for Freo finishing top 4 or Bulldogs finishing in the finals. If the Bulldogs lose to West Coast this week, that game doesn't matter at all.
That's why I think it would be funny. And it would be nice to, after calling them out for only having one win, to get a second win for West Coast. But I can't see them beating Bulldogs.
I was saying during that Bulldogs-Melbourne game that I was like, I was hoping that Melbourne would kick a few late again to get it back to close because it was such an entertaining game. But I was like, I also want the Bulldogs to win so that it's still 9 teams next week.
If finals were locked in, I would have to find a different stocks up, I guess.
Yeah, that would be a shame. Yeah, anyway. Blues cleaning house, except for Voss and Austin. I did think it was funny that he was like, the list is in terrible shape and we are keeping the list manager only. Obviously not only, there's other people who might keep their jobs, but they're the only two that
it is when you put it like that funny, but I actually don't think Austin's done a bad job.
No, Liliod is gone.
Yep, for the best. I think they have said that Hamill, the defensive coach, is safe for next year.
Yep.
And I think Ash Hansen has a contract for next year as well. Who has big raps on him, so I don't know.
They do talk highly about Hansen, yeah.
So I think a coaching clean-out's good. New head of football, very important.
And like locking in, like I said, locking in the people that need to be locked in and then being like, we're going to assess every other part of it, seems sensible.
It's also one of those things, you can't really sack the list manager when the draft is in 2 months, right?
Yeah, it's way too
That's
close.
North Melbourne of you. You can't be doing that.
That would be insane behaviour. You could maybe do it after the draft if you think he needs to go, but you can't do it after he's already spent this year.
Especially when so much of Carlton's draft this year is already kind of predetermined. They've got 2 academy kids and they've got 2 father sons.
2 father sons.
So like, well, that's if they take Hog.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't think there's much for them to play around with. I did do, I'm not going to read it out on the podcast, I'll talk to you about it later. I did like a all hell's broken loose. Carlton have lost 4 top-line players. These are the picks they get in. These are who they trade in. So I might talk to you about that off air. But I don't know. I think keeping Voss is the right decision. We've talked about it before. I like not to compare it in any way to situations like Richmond previously, or Chris Scott in the year where he thought maybe he was done and everything changed up and it was for the better for him. Like there's a chance that could happen, but it could equally just be getting everything right for a season and then assessing the coach.
We've talked about the almost sacking of Clarkson and Thompson and Hardwick and how like they've had such similar runs to Carlton where they had a couple of years where they made finals and then a couple of years where they were bad and the teams almost went, well, you've crashed back down, we're getting rid of you, and they didn't. They held firm. Freo with Longview was another great example. Like a lot of people said that he could have been sacked last year after they missed out after being second on the ladder.
I feel like we made jokes about them, to be honest.
Yeah, and like they held firm, and credit to them, he's changed his game style completely. He's clearly listened to a lot of the criticism, and they've played really exciting football this year. So like sometimes you stick to the guns and change up.
Fucking Luke Jackson running around doing whatever the fuck
You've got Jackson and Bolton, and it's just like. and Voss has added a layer of dynamicism to their forward line,
which is crazy.
which no one like. We were joking about him at the start of the year because it was fun to watch, but he's become a good forward.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like he's taking contested marks in clutch moments.
He's taking away Amos' shine in that forward line.
He really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally feel like it's the right decision. We'll see. I know there's a lot of people who are still mad about it. I've read some takes online that just make me go, Jesus Christ. But I do think there's some good youth in place. Like we've seen, Carroll, both of the Hollands brothers. Yep. Hopefully Elijah can come back in this week. Even players like Moya.
I've enjoyed what I've seen from Will White.
Well, I really like Will White. He's a goer.
Cooper Lord, obviously.
Frankie Evans had a fucking legacy
Evans
game.
is good now, apparently.
He's only 23. So I don't know. If he can play like that every week, he can stay in the side.
It's insane. He was just everywhere.
But it's more than that. Like Billy Wilson's finally getting a go, and I think he has upside. Cooper Lord has been in Carlton's, like not just Carlton's top 5, like top 5 on ground, like 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's upside there. It's just they need to inject some speed.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to take you through my 18-point plan.
Well, that's what I posted about it during that Collingwood game. We were watching Houston just struggle again, and I was like, it almost feels like he did choose the wrong of his 2 options in the sense that Collingwood didn't need him because they've got those players. And Carlton, especially now that Newman is out and Doherty just went downhill, Carlton desperately need that player. And look, I mean, he might be getting better money and he's obviously a better transfer flag this year, even if he's not playing well. But like in terms of fit, it might have been better at the other location.
Oh, he wanted to go to Carlton. Yeah. And my initial thought was he would be a good fit, but the capital it's not going to work out.
Didn't work out. And that happens. It's fine. There's something else I was going to bring up.
I got nothing else.
Doesn't matter. W season starts tomorrow. Which will be likely today.
I feel like that's why we did the podcast today, because there's no AFL men's tomorrow. So I assumed we were doing it here so you could talk about AFLW and how much
I
opening.
Will be there. Because there's 2 openers. One of them's in Perth.
Oh.
And I will be there tomorrow, so I can't do the podcast. I do think that the Carlton Collingwood one is interesting, but again, their reasons for it is it was the original opener.
Traditional rival.
And it was big then. I am picking Hawks for the flag. I think it was a bit of a roughie. It's not a huge one. A lot of people are up on them this year, but their best last year was so exciting. The boring pick is North. They're still so good. But I think, and this is obviously a biased pick from me, but I think Georgie Prespakis is a great chance for the Best and Fairest award. Again, another year older, another year stronger. And Zippy Fish for the Rising Star.
I feel like that's pretty high up there, right?
I like the way she was playing Waffle last year against full-grown women before doing a full preseason was insane. Like, she is so talented.
I'm just excited to watch a competition where Collingwood and Geelong aren't the 2 best teams in the comp. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's like that. The one thing that North fans have to hang out for a year is the W start because they're fucking so good.
I mean, Adelaide had that for a while, but they've finally come good in the men's. So
and fucking Brisbane are also good in the women's.
I still feel like Fremantle were unduly robbed that year that they cancelled the grand final. I feel like
it was a crazy decision to make.
It's a stain on the competition.
Like the men can play in front of no crowds, but we're just cancelling the women's finals. Like,
I mean, you could even make the joke: was there that much crowd that they needed to cancel out? And I know people do go to AFLW.
Yeah, especially finals.
Yeah.
But the AFL saying that even if they meet the crowd targets, they're not moving the grand final to Marvel is insane to me because there's two layers to it to me, right? One, like
you own that stadium, you're not fucking losing money. Sorry.
And 2, like if you've ever been to Melbourne, which if you're listening to a football podcast, at least an 80% chance you've been. It's so much easier to get to Docklands than to get to Icon Park.
Icon Park's out of the free tram zone, bro. I'm
like,
not going
if
there.
They get a if they get a non-sellout or like a late sellout at Icon, they'll use it to justify the crowd. And it's like, but less people will go to Icon. Yeah. If you live in Melbourne and the W Grand Final is on that weekend, you might go because it's fucking on. You're not going all the way to fucking Icon Park.
You're probably not going to go because it's... Oh, well, I mean, they've changed where things are.
There's mosquitoes in the toilets in some of the stands there. Like, there's so many... It just seems insane to me because, yes, the AFL owns that stadium.
It's also insane to have a giant team's logo at the grand final when they're very much likely not playing. They've played in one grand final.
Done is knowing that so many VFL games and W games are going to be played there is to go, you know what? On the opposite broadcast wing just put a giant Carlton logo there. Like you see
Do you
Collingwood
see
and Richmond
Bulldogs have done the
playing.
exact same thing with the exact
With the
same
stand?
layout?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
It's outrageous. Cover it up.
But yeah, I'm completely of the understanding that outside of the opening game and the finals not playing at Docklands, but for the grand final especially, surely you can play that at Docklands.
Yeah.
Like they had 20-odd thousand at Docklands the one year they did host the grand final there. I don't see why you can't do that again if you don't ruin the competition as they love to do. We're not getting the weird condensed fixture this year. It's just 12 rounds of actual footy. They've gone off obviously they can't do it the same way, but they've based who you don't play and who you do play off the ladder positions, the 6-6-6 like the men's, so it should be a better fixture as well. Like they've done, despite all the things that we've complained about during the year when they've announced new decisions, they have done a lot more things right this year than they did last year. It just seems like that Marvel call is insane to me.
Oh, that game's at 7:15 p.m.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy to go, because I've got time to go to work and go for a little jog and come home and go out.
Okay.
It's also, they moved it because, I don't know if you saw what Leaderville looked like on the weekend, but the answer is brown. It was just mud, the whole oval. And it took them until 2 days ago to move the W game from Leaderville to Lathlain. But Lathlain's like 15 minutes from here, so that's a pretty easy drive.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, I'm excited for the season to start. We'll see if more people can be interested this year. I hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Who knows? I really enjoy the W. So
Fuck, it's losing $50 million every day, Jack, so there's no point watching
let's
it.
not talk about the AFL teams that are losing that much money. Oof. Imagine like going to the AFL and be like, here is a spreadsheet of the amount of money you've put into the Gold Coast since they started.
This is
Just-
the most
just
people
one
they've
team.
ever had at a home game.
Yeah, I saw one of the excuses. They were like, "Oh, Geelong won a home final and they only averaged 30,000 at Kardinia Park." It's like Docklands averages 31,000. It averages 1,000 more people per game. It's not. Also, if you have a stadium,
They're playing North. They're
If you
playing
have-
North and
if you have a stadium
Adelaide.
that is on average 75% full, that's the right size. Like, you could argue Perth Stadium is too small for purpose because even though West Coast are currently shit, it still sells out almost every game.
Ugh, that's 40,000 at that Freo game I went to the other day. But it was bad weather, so but still.
But like, yeah, and that's another part of the Geelong thing is like they're like, oh, the crowds, and it's like, yeah, they mostly play interstate teams, which brings the crowd numbers down for starters.
Oh, but opposition team won't be able to get tickets. It's Geelong's home game.
Yeah,
the tickets will go
Opposition
to
team,
Geelong
well, all
members.
12 Gold Coast fans won't be able to get a ticket. No offense, Gold Coast. You've had a good year this year, as much as I.
You've had a good run, but I'm putting you down, little brother.
Really good year, but you know, it's not like there's 20,000 Gold
Lean
Coast
into
fans.
the wind, brother.
Not like there's 20,000 Gold Coast fans looking for a ticket to a game at Kardinia Park, is there? Like,
Hey. There might be.
we're gonna have a fucking 37,000 crowd at the MCG. It's gonna be mostly empty.
They have 26,000 members last year.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be up this year. I just don't know
Yeah,
how
and
much.
how many of them are going to be travelling to Melbourne?
It's their first final ever.
It will be, yeah.
a
And
shame.
that's if that happens. That's the most likely result, is that those two teams play in the first final. But it could genuinely be not that.
Do you reckon if Gold Coast are playing on grand final day and they win, get Carmichael Hunt to give them the cup?
Oh, God, no. That'd be funny. I don't think they should. Oh, I worked on your premise earlier, by the way.
Oh, no.
Your premise of the funniest possible final series
Sure.
for the AFL having to force a game.
Oh,
to
right,
beat
yes.
the
I was
MCG.
actually excited about this.
So I ran through a whole final series. I built it out the funniest way it could work, in my opinion, based on like the teams that are currently good. We expect will be good next year.
Sure.
So first plays fourth being Adelaide and GWS. Fifth plays eighth being Fremantle and Collingwood. Sixth plays seventh being Sydney and Geelong.
Yeah.
And then second plays third being Gold Coast and Brisbane.
I feel like Sydney and Geelong would get moved to the MCG.
It's then funnier if we play all those games at the interstate venues, and then Geelong beat Sydney and Collingwood beat Fremantle.
So they play the away games.
So then
against
it would
the
be
losers.
like Adelaide, Collingwood, and then Geelong, Gold Coast.
And then both
but
the
Gold
Melbourne
Coast and
teams
Adelaide
lose.
are the home teams.
And then
They
Collingwood
can't put them at the
and Geelong
MCG
lose.
because that's fucked, right? And then Collingwood and Geelong lose, and we end up with prelims of all non-Victorian teams.
One game played at the MCG in September.
What game would the AFL move? You know what I mean? Because they'd have to, because they have that agreement, rolling agreement with the MCG. They have to
What
play
is
a
it?
certain amount. I think
How
they
many-
have to play 10 games every 5 years, or 8 every 3 years. It's something weird. Like it's a rolling number.
I'd have to look at the previous years to determine it, but
But that's why, and that's the real answer to why they're not going to let Geelong play a home final,
yeah.
or Bulldogs or St Kilda at Docklands. Like it's because they need to make sure they've got the minimum number of games at the MCG, especially while we've got such a strong non-Victorian list of teams.
Does the grand final count?
No.
Okay, so they had 2 last year.
Yeah. And that's why they need to keep
Yeah.
at least 2 a year kind of thing.
Lol. Rip Geelong.
Yeah, and rip Bulldogs, rip... Yeah. Anyway, that's me. I'm done for this week. You done for this week?
Yeah, I'm just checking. 1, 2, 3. Had 3 week 1 of 2023.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Had 1 the week after, that's 4, 5. They had 5 that year.
They really locked in their quota that season.
So they locked in that St Kilda GWS game for no reason.
Yeah.
Seems that way. What did they get at the game?
Let's guess, like 40...
Oh, 68.
Really?
It's bigger than I expected.
St Kilda fans hadn't made it for a while.
Can't do that at Etihad. Can't do 68.
No, you can get 50. I think it's 50.
You could sit them on the roof, but it'd have to be closed.
They could be open. They just dangle the legs. It's not a safety hazard. Anyway, we'll be back as normal next week. There'll be a Thursday game next week, though, so we'll be back in time for that. Or is there a Wednesday game that week?
No, I don't think
Or is
so.
it Thursday?
Nah. I think
Not
we're-
next week, the week after.
I think
So it
we're
doesn't matter
normal.
next
I
week.
think we're normal for a little bit.
But yeah, we'll be back Thursday next week. I hope the AFL does listen and they don't do as many Thursday games next week.
Next week?
Next year. I'm so tired.
They won't listen. It's
Um,
money.
But yeah, I hope you enjoy this weekend of football. It's actually exciting for the ladder. And we'll see you next week.